Hey, there you are. Good morning, Beardos. Welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm going to be doing a quick update on kind of an in-the-bag video that I posted earlier. It's kind of a mid-season update on my upper park shift bag that you can see here. Ta-da, there it is. I'm going to be down at Dry Creek Disc Golf Park here today, and I'm going to be shooting the first 9 holes, which should allow me to kind of get through all the discs in my bag. So, and I'm going to be talking a little bit about the bag, using it, my experience with it for the first half of the season. So to start with today, I'm going to talk a little bit about storage in the bag. Now, obviously storage on this bag, hopefully you can see me here, is pretty minimal because it is kind of designed to be compact. Most of the storage comes in the form of these 2 pockets on the front. And so what I normally do is I will take my wallet, put it in one side, and I got a bit of a Costanza here. You can't really see that, but it fits fine. It fits absolutely perfectly, and there's loads of space in there. And then in the other side, I'll put my keys in there, and that is plenty of storage. Again, the purpose behind this bag is for it to be compact and for it to be light. So you don't want a ton of storage in this thing. If I had any other stuff for a casual round, I'm just going to pocket it. So I should be able to basically get every disc in my bag through as I play through the first 9 holes here. Obviously, starting off practicing with my putters, I'm going to start off with the Peak. So I recently switched from Pures to the Isaac Robinson Peak in this zero medium orbit plastic. It's fantastic. I love the little bead because I still kind of put my finger on the bead. I haven't quite gone to tucking my finger under. So I still like the way that feels right on my finger here. It makes it kind of a nice consistent putt. Oh, terrible. Now for throwing off the tee, if I need a putter off the tee, say 200 to 220 feet, I'm throwing my Silva Saranen Particle Glow Proxy. I absolutely love this thing off the tee. For someone like me and for my arm speed, it's great because I can get it to hold the line that I want. So if I put this on a hyzer, it'll pretty much hold a hyzer. If I put it on an anhyzer, it'll turn over. And if I want a dead straight shot, it'll go just dead straight for me. Now, if I'm approaching the basket, if I'm within, say, 150 feet, what I'm likely going to do if I got a wide open look, I'm going to be throwing this Eagle McMahon Element Series range. I love this thing. This is one of the first runs, and it's just a beautiful, floaty kind of, even though it's fairly heavy, at 169, it's not a light disc, feels heavy in the hand, but I like it for approaching the basket. And yeah, I knew it. Yeah, there it goes. Still rolling, still rolling. Okay. For an overstable driver, putter driver off the tee, I've got an Envy in the Proton Soft Plastic. I love this thing. It doesn't come out a lot. In a lot of cases, I might switch to my Zone for an overstable approach. But if I know I need it to go a bit further, the Envy is the disc I'm going to throw because I can definitely get some distance on it. That's better. Now for disc storage, obviously, the front of this bag has got a handful of slots. There's a slot for the Zone. We'll talk about the Zone a bit later. But I love it because it actually fits these discs really, really well. And you think that, you know, there's not a ton of storage up top, but there is. I can fit my 2 putters there, and then the range and the Envy go right there. And that's mostly what I'm throwing on a short course like this anyways. The storage is really good. I want to talk quickly about the quality of this bag because that's kind of the number one thing I think that is impressing me. This bag still looks brand new. I don't know off the top of my head how many rounds. It's definitely a couple of dozen rounds I've got on this already. So not a ton. It's not like I've got 200 rounds on this bag, but it's still in pristine shape, particularly around the shoulders where the shoulder straps attach. And obviously it's lighter. It's not putting quite as much weight on it. Whereas on my big tournament bag, I can start to see the shoulders starting to wear a little bit. But here, obviously, it being so much lighter, it's not putting nearly as much stress on those bits. And the D-rings are holding it really, really well. So hole 1 here is 325 feet up at the top of the hill. Obviously, distance drivers. It's a great place to start with distance drivers. And I really only carry 2 distance drivers in this bag. I've got obviously my Westside Destiny. And then I also upgraded from my Pro Destroyer to this Philo Braithwaite Tour Series Destroyer. I've got other discs in here that may be distance. I've got a Gorgon and a Thunderbird. We'll talk a little bit about them later. But right now, these are the 2 distance discs that I would throw on this hole. No, it's going to go straight into those trees. Nice and straight, though. That's okay. That'll give me a pitch up for a par. The Destroyer, on the other hand, is still going to be quite overstable, so it's going to go up high right. Oh, that should be, oh, not bad at all. I also love the side pocket access on this bag. So there's 2 side pockets on either side, and so I can put my distance drivers in there, and they're shaped perfectly for it. Nice and easy to just slide it right in. Now, as I head up to the second tee box here, one thing I will say that is a challenge with this bag, and hopefully I don't know how you could improve on it really, is the D-rings. I love the D-rings. If you watch my other in the bag, you notice that I lament that my Discmania bag had no D-rings. Well, this one does. It's got a couple of D-rings, but here's the problem. The D-rings tend to flop everything kind of into the bag. So in a lot of cases, I got to fish all these tags out before I can get at my discs. Pain in the butt, but that's just the nature of the way that the bag sits and where the D-rings are located. Hole 2 here shoots from the top of the hill down to a blind basket, actually. Can't really see the basket from here, so I'm going to change the camera angle a bit. But I like to throw something overstable depending on the amount of wind. In a headwind, a really strong headwind, I would throw my Thunderbird. If the wind isn't quite as strong, I'm going to be throwing my Champion Eagle. And it might even go down to something even lower speed if I had a tailwind, but there's not often a tailwind here. It's just the nature of how the wind flows in this valley, and it's pretty consistent. So let's reposition the camera, and we'll give you a better look at the shot. All right, can you see me? Here I am. The real challenge filming this hole is actually getting the whole shot in, particularly because you're flying from up top. All right, so we're gonna start with the Thunderbird and maybe take a little bit off of it and try to get it close. Oh, a little bit too high, maybe. If you throw it too high here, it's going to want to come back. Well, we'll see. I don't know where that one is. Oh, no. And the Eagle with a little bit of a headwind, I'm going to put this a little bit lower, I think. Oh, that's going to be gone back behind the basket. So that is the challenge of this hole, too. You never really know where you're going to end up. So that Eagle, that just went way short. It's way the hell over there. The Thunderbird, oh, there it is. Thunderbird's not bad. Thunderbird's a putt anyways. Hole 3 here is a pretty stock hyzer shot. I would often throw the zone here because of how short it is, but I have plans for the zone on a different hole. So I'm going to show you the Envy, throwing off the tee. Just want to follow the path and let it fall at the basket. Or short. Oh, not bad at all. So that ended up a little bit short. You saw it go through this patch of sunlight here. So it was a little short of the basket, not quite the ace run that it looked like. But let's find it and make our putt. Oh, there it is. Hey, bud. There we go. You know, the challenge here with hole 4 is always setting up the camera in a spot where I can actually see the basket. Now, I have 2 discs that I could happily throw on this hole. Again, it's a fairly straight shot, but you want a little bit of fade at the end. So I'm going to be throwing my fused BUZZZ and this cool dyed hex that I got from Secret Santa. All right, let's see if we can't get either of these close. A little higher than I'd like, but that should make it past those trees. No, it did not make it past those trees. Wow, okay. Keep it low, miss the trees. Let's try the hex. We're going to throw this a little bit lower. And dead straight. Wanted a little bit of fade. There we go. And that might be crushed long. This is actually a better putt. This is quite a bit closer. There we go. Hole 5 here is actually another pretty simple hole. I mean, aside from that giant tree right in the middle. I could throw the BUZZZ on here. I could throw the Hex on here. But what I'm going to throw is I'm going to throw the Detour. And I'm going to try to take my old line, which is a bit of a turnover down the left side gap. We'll see if this Detour will behave today. Oh, a little bit of turn, a little bit of turn. Oh, that's actually a really helpful hit because otherwise it would have just hyzered out and ended up in the bush on the left. Again, that didn't work out too bad. I mean, it's still more of a putt than I want, but could have worked out a lot worse. And still a birdie. 13. Woohoo! C2 birdie. Now, this is one of my favorite holes on the whole course. I'm hoping you can see it actually because we got a lot of bright sun here into darkness. And because it's so straightforward, you really can speed up on a disc and just throw it into the bank if you need to. So a lot of people were throwing higher speed discs on this and just drilling it into the bank, trying to get it a straight in ace. And that's what we're going to try to do today with these two discs. My Sophia Dunica Eagle L. And if you watched my Crave video, this is the Neutron Crave that I put an absolute crush on. And I just got a die on it. I did trying out I know it's off center. Don't judge me. This is my first or second attempt at doing a hot dip die, so loving this one. Okay, here we go. And if it fades out, we should be okay. Hopefully, oh, we saw it hit just beside that tree. Hopefully, if it sat down, that should be a pretty easy putt. Let's throw this maybe a little bit flatter. And let it turn in the same spot. Yeah, both of those are actually fairly straightforward, slightly downhill birdie putts. Here we go. Straddle putt. Oh no! Bummer. Like I said, pretty straightforward. Oh, man. Walker! We're just walking up to the tee box on hole 7. Hole 7 is another challenging one to film, so I'm going to reset the camera once I get up top here. But we'll give you a quick look from the tee box at where we're shooting. Whoa, geez. There we go. You can see we're kind of going down the hill. Actually, you know what? I might be able to set this up okay if you don't mind seeing a bit of tree in your shot here. Basket is down there. This is like the one tee box where I'm actually going to throw the range off the tee because I want it just to float straight down towards the basket. Oh, a little short, not enough welly. But you see it skidded up. That should still give me a putt. A bit longer putt than I would like. Oh no, too much. Good line though. And again, too much. Now this next hole, hole 8, this is the one that I was saving the zone for, and you'll see why in a second. I'm going to walk over to the tee box here and show you a bit of a close-up of the zone. But then I'm going to have to, again, reset the camera because you just can't see the basket from the tee box. I love this Get Freaky confetti zone. This thing gets looks wherever I go. But it's in the Z Flex plastic, which is so much better, so gummy, especially in the heat like this. And it's nice that it hits and dies. All right, here we go. Here, you see me there? Hopefully you can see me. This is a pretty standard hyzer shot. You just kind of want to get it up in the air. This is the kind of hole that the zone really should just eat for breakfast. I'm going to put it out there, and we'll see if we can get close. Nice and high. That should be just perfect. Oh, right on. Excellent. Well, I can't complain about that. That's one of the better shots I've thrown on this hole lately. Hasn't seemed to really been working out for me a ton lately. Hole number 9. This hole vexes people. This is probably, it plays as the most difficult hole on the course for a couple of reasons. The first reason is that obviously the basket is way up on the hillside, and you can see that slope, everything just wants to roll away. You get a perfect drive and it'll roll 40 feet away. The other reason is that there's a mando tree. That big tree there on the right-hand side is a mando. You got to go to the left of that. I think they should take the mando out. But whatever, we'll try. Let's, normally on this hole I'm throwing my destroyer, so that's what we're going to do. Just to get it up high enough, get it all the way down there. Get through, get through. Did not see it come down. I did not see that disc come down. Oftentimes, if you go up high, it will hyzer out into the bank on the left side here. Let's get up there and have a quick look. Hit this thing. Don't die. Don't die. Oh, there we go. Not bad. All right, all things considered, this is actually a pretty good result. Most of the time, you'd end up down the hill, which isn't always a bad place, but from here, it should be pretty standard. Little pitch forward with the zone. Let's see if we can't get close and not roll down the hill. I'll give you the play-by-play if it starts to roll. Don't hit the camera. Pick a line and follow it. Don't hit the camera. Oh, oh no, there you go. No, no, no. Oh my goodness, are you okay? I got you. Oh man, sorry about that. Oh man, I'm so sorry about that. You all right? Okay. Let's just finish that off. Par on this hole is friggin' impossible. Ugh. Coming down the hill here from 9. You can see why that hole plays as one of the hardest on the course. I mean, aside from my crappy putt, I mean, it's a real challenge. Now, the more astute among you that have been following along, notice that there are 2 other discs in this bag that I haven't thrown yet on the front 9. And you'll see why in just a few minutes. And this is why I was waiting. Now, this is hole 13 here at Dry Creek. If you watch my channel at all, you've probably seen me throw this a whole bunch of times because there's a couple discs in here. The 2 discs that I have left are perfect for this hole. What I have is my Proto Glow Dennis Augustson Gorgon and my beautiful Bunsanity. All right, here we go. I'm not going to do multiple takes on this. We're just going to throw it and see what happens. Turn, turn, turn. Oh, beautiful. Oh, one of my better shots on this hole. I mean, it didn't turn as much as I wanted, but still, that's pin high. That's just fantastic. All right, Bunsanity. We might have to give you a little bit of hyzer. Oh, no. Try that again. I fibbed. I'm totally throwing the Bunsanity again. Get through. A little bit of a kiss. Oh, well. 1 out of 2 ain't bad. Wow. So where this Insanity landed actually gives me a perfect chance to show you kind of an upshot with the range. About 110 feet to the basket. I paced it off. Just going to keep my eyes on the target and just try to keep it flat and aim a little bit right because I know it's going to hyzer out at this low speed. I'm using a modified fan grip. Let's see if we can't get something close. Yes, we can. All right. Beautiful. So as I put this out, I want to give you kind of my final thoughts. We're going to start off with basically the discs that I have in here and the way I've set it up, because obviously it's quite a bit different than it was when I did the first in the bag at the beginning of the season. And there's a specific reason for that. Now, when I set this bag up initially at the beginning of the season, my intention was to look into my collection of discs and find discs that matched the shots that I had in the big bag, my tournament bag. Because if you watch that in the bag, you know that I'm not really bagging discs, I'm bagging shots. So it really didn't seem that important to me what disc it was, as long as it followed the same shot shape. I've found that is incorrect. At least for me it is. So what I ended up doing is actually reproducing many of the discs from that bag and bagging them the same as I do in the tournament bag. So all I've done is I've pared down a lot of shots, a lot of discs that maybe have a slightly different feel. For example, I think in the tournament bag, I'm bagging 3 or 4 different like mid-ranges, from like a paradox in understability to a detour to a hex to a tempo. So I've got 4 different stabilities. Whereas in this bag, I only have 3, although kind of the hex and the BUZZZ are pretty well doing the same thing. Neither of them has really proven itself to beat out the other one yet, so I haven't really taken them out, although I believe that eventually I will take one of those out, probably the hex, and then just run with the BUZZZ. But that would leave me with 2. That would leave me with the Detour and the BUZZZ. Now I can shape the BUZZZ on an Anheuser if I want. I can get the Detour to turn over. So it allows me to kind of work on shot shape as opposed to just disc selection. That's why I've got a Peak, the Proxy. These are basically, in the tournament bag, they're the identical discs. Peak, the weights might be a little bit different, but again, another Silva, Particle Glow, Proxy. The range is practically identical. I don't know if I have an Envy. I don't know if I have an Envy in the tournament bag. I'll have to double check that and let you know whether or not I do. And the zone, obviously, in the tournament bag, I've got 2 different zones of different hardness. I've got a Z Flex, and then I've got a slightly harder one. For basically, if I want a zone to hit and skip, I'll use the Crystal, the Lightstone 2022, the Z Glow one. Whereas if I want something to kind of hit and stick and not bounce so much, I'll use the Z Flex, and they'll get better as they beat in as well. Destroyers, I carry a couple of different destroyers in the tournament bag, whereas I've pared it down to a single one. It's 167 grams. I don't use this a ton in this bag because, again, I'm not as concerned about the shape. I will default to the Thunderbird in a lot of cases for that type of thing, whereas the destroyer, I'll throw it on 1 and I'll throw it on 9 generally because I just want the speed to get up there. Everything else is basically identical. I've got a Crave in the other bag. I've got an Insanity, a Bunsanity in the other bag, I think. I've got an Eagle L as well. And of course, the regular Eagle, though, I don't really have anything in the tournament bag that matches this, mostly because I'm just trying this as an overstable 7-speed, and it's working out really well for him. I'd end up having to get another one and put it in the other bag. So basically, my whole concept of what I wanted out of this bag changed a little bit. Initially, I just wanted discs that matched the shop shapes. What I found was that I was much more comfortable having the exact copies of the discs that went in here. And luckily, I'm in a position where I'm able to do that. If I need to replicate a disc, I can. And these are starting to get beat in a little bit more as well, so they're starting to come out really, really well. Now, the bag itself. So let's finish up with the bag. Again, this bag is really doing everything I want it to. The only real complaints I have about this bag is that it does sit kind of wonky on the ground. If you're on any kind of slope, it's difficult for it to kind of stabilize, and it'll often fall over. In the back of the car, actually, as well, on the way here, all I got to do is take a corner if I have it in the back seat, and it'll just flop over. So it's a bit of a pain in the butt. I can put it in the footwell in the passenger side if nobody else is in there. If I put it in the trunk, inevitably I'll go back into the trunk, and it's a yard sale in there. So luckily, everything is kind of nice and tight. And the discs themselves don't come out, but everything else that's in here kind of wants to spread all over the place. Quality-wise, I can't imagine a better quality bag. This is truly amazing construction, and it's holding up so well, just so well. So I love this bag. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep it, and I'm going to run with this indefinitely. There's no reason for me to carry that giant tournament bag everywhere when this thing does 75% of the rounds that I play. This thing will accommodate for me. If I go up and I want to play Cumberland with my wife, or if I want to play one of the other courses up in Comox. Now, if I go up to the park in Comox, which is a long course, the only par 5 on the island at 800 feet, and it's a super long course, and it's also a golf course, so it's wide open. The tournament bag is best for that because I can literally rig up my golf cart with the bag, and I don't have to carry it at all. But the weight difference between the two is absolutely phenomenal. The D-rings are holding up really well. It's the bottom is in fantastic shape. I'll show you that here. You know, a little bit of dust in there, but aside from that, these feet do an excellent job of keeping it off the ground. The only thing from a usability standpoint that I have an issue with is that if I'm holding it by the handle and I need to either take a disc out or put a disc in, what happens is that this opening tightens up, and you can see it kind of bagging out here. What's happened, so it makes it a little bit more difficult to put a disc back in, because you really got to push hard to get it through that opening, because that opening is closing up. Whereas if it's supported on the ground, I'll put it up here. Hopefully you can see the whole thing. If I put it up here, then obviously you can see it's starting to bag open a little bit. Getting stuff in and out is easy because the bag isn't closing up like that. Lots of space for patches, for Velcro. That's one thing that I really miss on the Discmania bag, was it had no spot for Velcro. And there's also, and my mini, my mini's going there. Where's my mini gone? Anyway, I can also use my end of a chalk bag as a mini. And I love having it up here in the top. All right, there you go. Thanks again for joining me today. I know this is a long one because I kind of did double duty with it. So hopefully you stuck around to the end to see exactly. I'll put chapters in here, so if you didn't want to stick around, you could actually just jump around and see the different discs and the different shots. So I really appreciate you being a member of my channel. I literally this morning, I met a buddy of mine on the course. He was just going for a walk. He's not a disc golfer, but he looked me up and subscribed. And that makes 801 subscribers. And my heart just goes out to every one of you that stuck around and is still around and is interested in the content that I create. It helps me really focus on what's important, and that's making stuff that people want to see. And so hopefully, if you have any suggestions, stuff you want to see upcoming, let me know in the comments. Obviously, I want to hear from you. That also helps engage the videos as well. The more comments we get, the better. So thanks again. We'll see you next time here on Graybeard Disc Golf. I'm going to go and practice my putting. Man, that putt on 9. Wow, that was brutal. Let's just practice some putting right now, shall we?